nobody, so I will go ahead and open up the Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, October 13th. Thank you for coming. Apologies, we're short a couple members. One had a death in the family and one is ill today, so. But we do have a quorum, so we're able to answer your needs. So whoever wants to come up, and first on the agenda is pickleball in the municipal gym. Anyone want to come up? You want to do it from there?
Good from here, as far as I'm concerned.
Is that going to be good enough for the audio?
Yeah, it should pick up on that mic.
Okay. Let me just speak from my point of view how it's going, and then I'll let you guys make your presentation. So Dick came in May and talked about pickleball here in the municipal gym, and I think everyone here on the commission was supportive of that. He presented it as 15 or so Douglas seniors who wanted to play. You know, the gym is a town facility, and we were happy to accommodate that any way we could. I, as president of the basketball program, was ready to absorb any cleaning costs, trash bags, floor mops, whatever, to accommodate our Douglas seniors. About a month ago, Dick and I had a conversation down in the gym about out-of-town players. I then expressed some concerns about cleaning, wear and tear on the floor, some other things, and I thought we were kind of at a standstill there. Then, I don't think it was this past weekend, the weekend before, I saw Dick's ad in the paper, advertising for players, no mention of Douglas residents, anything. So, at this point, I just want to put a halt on anything, see where we were, where you guys were, and then talk about any issues that the commission or you guys have. So, whoever wants to take it from here, have at it.
Well, you addressed the email to me, so I'll lead off.
Okay.
I'm Dick Skinner. I got Jim Ducharme of the Sunshine Club, Pam Swartz, who is co-president of Sunshine Club,
Yeah.
and Donna Gear, who is an advanced player, Douglas resident.
Okay.
We've set up an agenda here of things to talk about,
Yeah.
and we said in May that we were setting this up for Douglas residents. We currently have about 15 Douglas residents signed up, which was where we said we were going to be. Personally, I don't think limiting it to Douglas residents is the way to go for a number of reasons. One is coaching. Donna is, I believe, the only advanced person, and she can't coach everybody all at one time. So allowing people to come in from other communities is good for a lot of reasons, including socializing with other communities, having the advanced coaching skills, etc. We don't need funding from you. I came looking initially for funding, and we went off and found funding, so we don't need funding from the Recreation Committee. We're self-sustaining. Donna even submitted an application for a national grant, or a grant from the National Pickleball Group, and we got that. We haven't spent it yet. We're waiting for the outcome here, and then we'll take it away.
Okay.
I believe you suggested the player fee, or commented about a player fee.
That was one of my comments, yes, for out-of-town residents, certainly. You know, certainly in-town residents, their tax dollars go to the municipal center, so my thought would be possibly. It's not, it was just a suggestion, it wasn't a, something to think about.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
At the moment, we believe we don't need to do that. We believe that it would not encourage everybody to come and join us, and we'd like to have as many people as possible join us as we can play. You obviously reach a saturation point where you can't get there.
Can I mention something?
What?
Can I mention something?
Please do.
I think one thing that you need to look at, the seniors work differently than Little League and basketball teams because we work with the other senior centers. We work with the Sutton Senior Center, the Uxbridge one.
Yep.
And we try not to have functions going on similarly at the same time. We attend each other's functions. So when we have a meal and a movie, seeing the residents from the Sutton Senior Center or the Uxbridge, they come to town. And we go and try to share the benefits of their senior centers as well. So it's just something to think about, that how we all are working together and our activities go on in different towns, and we are welcome to attend theirs,
Yep.
and we welcome them too. So I just thought that was something to point out.
Very fair, very fair.
That's a good point I hadn't thought about.
And I would say that the people who seem to be coming to, in attendance to what we're initiating here, basically are seniors.
Yeah,
And it's not young adults or kids coming, well, obviously they're in school, but it is the senior community. And as Jim mentioned too, the state of Massachusetts that asked the towns to have senior centers are open to seniors from any place in the state of Massachusetts free of charge. So, you know, we would like to offer this to the Douglas residents because we do need senior recreation facilities and programs. And maybe this is a stepping stone to get us to that point, and maybe in the town, we will generate a lot more interest and involvement, which is a necessary part. The exercise programs at the senior center seem to be the most actively participated in. So now this is just one more avenue because our seniors are younger. And this opens an opportunity to get them involved with more of our senior community. So there are a lot of positives to initiating this program. And it's the camaraderie and the socialization, as Jim pointed out.
so do you have any kind of idea on how many times a week you want to set this up for?
Yes.
Okay,
At the bottom, the very last item 10, what we would like to have is an additional morning for playing,
yeah,
and we like at one evening a week if we could, and they could be the same day, morning, afternoon, evening kind of thing.
so you're looking to play 3 times a week, is that what you're getting at? 3
times.
times a week, okay.
More
Okay,
if allowed.
well, so before, let's discuss the number of times a week, then we'll get into the evenings. So one of the issues is, like I said, that depending on how many hours are used, that court should be washed. Recommended is every 10 hours or so of use, it should be washed. Now, currently, that's done by the basketball program, okay, not by the town.
Is it wet wash?
It's a mop, it's a wet towel, we have a big long,
And we use.
Yeah, we
the
used
mop.
it this week, yeah.
oh, no, not the mop. So it is kind of a long, it's hard to describe, that you wrap a towel on that's wet, and then you drag it back and forth across the floor. It's a half hour to 45-minute process when you're done. Okay, so during the basketball season, we aim to do that twice a week because we're very heavy. That's November to March. The spring, I don't do nearly as often. I have a couple teams in there practicing nights a week. So maybe I do it once every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks. I actually haven't done it recently. I haven't done it since you put the tape down before. So if you increase your play, somehow that probably needs to be addressed, as well as paying for the cleaning supplies, the trash bags for the trash cans, and any other costs, the mops, all that stuff is paid for through the basketball program. And as president of the basketball program, again, if it's just going to be Douglas seniors, I'm happy to absorb those costs. When it's not Douglas seniors, I'm a little less willing to do it, and there's also a manpower issue, right? The parents of Douglas are really, when it's not basketball season, nobody's really concerned about the basketball program, so to be bluntly honest, it's me who's washing that floor. So it's not only a cost issue, it's a manpower issue as you extend the use of the gym. In terms of the time frame, mornings are available, right? We just talked about the cleaning and the cost. In terms of the time frame, the mornings are available for whenever you want to use it. And we can probably find weeknight times for you in the spring and in the fall. In the winter, there is basketball in there every night. It'd be up to the commission on whether or not that was to continue or not, but we do have travel practices in there every night. Typically, we even rent a couple of nights up at the schools to fit every team in to get a couple practices. We're in there all day Saturday for the younger kids playing town ball, and then travel balls on Sunday. So that's just kind of a couple of my thoughts in that term. So I'd kind of like a detailed plan of we're going to play Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, you said 3 times a week, then, I'm sorry, the lady here, whose name, Dawn, suggested we'd like to play more. I just kind of like a detailed plan as to what we're going to do, and then we can move forward on the other issues in terms of scheduling and cleaning costs. And, if John or Hannah want to make any comments at this point, I'm surely allow them to do so, but that's kind of where I am.
I think what you guys are doing is great. There isn't enough for the seniors in town to do, so I commend you for what you guys are doing.
Yeah, your parents appreciate it too.
Sure, yeah, my mother-in-law does like the senior center for sure. The out-of-town people, in our sports programs, we charge every individual because we really don't get any help from the town. So we have to maintain the ball fields, by fertilizer and what have you, and the volunteers do all the work. Kind of like you guys are putting another league together. I think it's great, Just, we gotta find the happy medium to accommodate everyone,
I don't think finances are the issue.
So, and as far as out-of-town players, there's a liability form they can fill out if.
They have,
We've already done that.
everyone who
Perfect.
plays signs the release.
That's perfect. So, I know we make them do that in the baseball, softball, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Ryan does with his basketball.
Everybody has signed a waiver.
Perfect.
And are you using the waiver that was on that town form? Okay, perfect.
And Lisa has the originals.
Okay, great.
So if it's a matter of getting, the court wiped down or whatever, I don't have a problem with helping with that situation.
Okay,
That's not an issue. I'm retired. I can stay afterwards and help out. I want to see this program succeed as well. I volunteered with Dick because I want to help the seniors. I want to give my time to my town and to other people. I enjoy their company, and I hope they enjoy mine. Yeah. And I like teaching them. And if you could come down and see the program, they all have smiles on their faces and they're laughing. And Jim almost fell on his face, and he actually laughed about it. So it was. So they have a really good time, and I think it's a great program. So I really do hope that we can proceed, with more time. And there are a lot of people that want to play that are interested in playing, and like we said, the people that are available during the day are mostly seniors. So.
If you would explain the playtime schedule type thing, so they have an idea of.
Okay. So we have a website that pickleball areas use. I play in Grafton, I play in Upton, and now here. It's called Playtime Scheduler, where we go on there and we set up a session if we're going to play. And our session right now is an invite only because we didn't want so many people showing up. We want to know who's going to show up right now. So you can go on there and you can see the session that's open and put your name on to play. So I can play anywhere, Webster, Northborough, Westborough. If I see a session, I can add my name to it. And there's generally no fees involved with any of that. So we are currently using Playtime Scheduler just so we can see how many people are going to come. If we do have more time frames put out there, we will put it in there as, it's a session started and other people that aren't on our current list can show up at that time, and we can police as it comes to make sure we see who's coming as far as that goes. And we want to keep Douglas residents as preference anyways. So, and we can limit the amount of players that come each week as well, because we don't want 50 people in there when there's only 3 courts for 12 people playing at a time. It's too many people to rotate, so we would keep that at a minimum as well, probably 20 max each time.
Yeah, this scheduling allows you to add your name, because it is, as Donna said, invite only, if you know what that means. So that it can't just be just Joe Schmo off the street saying, oh, I think there's something going on, I'll go play. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, most of them are without invite only, but we're currently on an invite only session, because we don't want, other people right now that we're not aware of in our program.
A lot of the senior activities, whether it's the yoga or the exercise programs, the ones we can do in the senior center, it's kind of like a pickup game compared to having a team or a league and organize like that. You know, we let them know, okay, we're gonna be doing yoga at this time on this day, and we hope as many show up as possible, and pickleball works very much the same. But this way, we can,
It's controlled.
it's controlled much more.
I would also like to say that this is, coming indoors is mainly a winter time kind of thing. Pickleball, there's so many areas, would like a couple more, maybe on that basketball court out there.
Yeah.
A couple of courts out there. For outdoor activity, you don't want to be inside when it's beautiful
Of course.
out. So I personally am thinking this is more of a wintertime thing for the indoor aspect of it, and maybe moving to the outdoors once the nicer weather comes.
Donna just reminded me, the three of these people haven't heard what I'm about to say. But I got an email today from the Uxbridge Senior Center Director asking for help in setting up a game up there, a group of people to play pickleball. So it's rapidly expanding, and we shouldn't be as overwhelmed as we currently are, as other towns come in.
Because what you're talking about is using one of their indoor school facilities.
Yes.
Or the old high school
The
they're
old
talking
high school.
about using, McCluskey.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything, Hannah? Okay. I just want to echo John's statements. I think the program is great, and I am fully supportive of it. I'm just trying to figure out a way to make it work for everybody, right?
We'll work with you.
Yeah, okay. Another slight mild concern of mine is the bathrooms. So currently, the town is generous enough to clean the bathrooms twice a week. But other than that, there's not a lot in there. So, as I discussed with Dick, teenage boys aren't quite as particular about the bathroom as senior citizens may be. So one of the last things I want is somebody calling town hall complaining about the cleanliness of the bathroom. So that may be something we ask you guys to pick up on in terms of, you know, checking the bathrooms. Most of the completing size, I can show you where they're in a closet, and maybe the sink needs to be scrubbed down, or even the toilet has to be washed. So essentially, that's what the basketball program does on our in the winter. Saturday morning, we check to make everybody comes through. Sunday morning, we check everything to make everything come through. And it's far from perfect, but again, teenage boys and young families aren't necessarily as particular as others in terms of the cleanliness of the bathroom. So that'd be one thing that concerns me as well. So,
Are your basketball programs co-ed, or are they strictly boys?
they're co-ed. Well, I mean, the youngers are co-ed, and then there are boys and girls teams, yes. So both the bathrooms down there are, well, unisex. Unisex is, I was looking for the correct phrase in this day and age. Unisex is correct, so.
As I said, we'll work with you,
Okay, okay.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
most certainly.
I think everybody
Yeah,
is
until,
willing to do that.
the program gets going, we're not gonna really know how much extra is going to be needed in the areas you've been talking about. So we're just letting you know that as that arises, we're more than open to suggestions and working with
What our
you.
fair share would be.
Okay, well, and that's what just as my concern. I don't know how far this is going to. This is going to 5 days a week, 3 hours a morning,
Well, we
then,
can talk about that.
and that's fine. I just don't want the burden of the gym
Right.
being,
Understandably so.
right, so.
Well,
And,
and Dick and I, and excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
step
go
on
ahead.
anybody. Dick and I had also discussed that two of us have the access with the key as far as the key goes. So, we would be the ones ultimately responsible. So the more days involved, we open it up, the more days we have to be there. So
Okay.
that's something that we are gonna discuss. We don't wanna be tied down to
Right.
having to be there 5 days a week as well, so. You know, one day it might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, another week could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thinking, you know, depending on our schedules too, so.
And that is our commitment. Either Donna or I will be at game playing.
Okay, thank you.
And it's going to be more of a seasonal thing as far as the use of the gym.
That's what I said,
Right.
more winter time.
Yeah, there
One more
isn't-
thing on the agenda that we haven't mentioned yet. we have a lot of equipment, and to be able to use that storage room is fine, but nets and stuff is expensive, so we were wondering if we could buy a foot locker that we would purchase and put our equipment in and lock it and just put it in that room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to envision how big it is, as long as you think.
5 foot long
Yeah,
by 2 feet, 2 feet.
yeah, I think we can make,
It's a foot locker.
we can make room. We might have to stick it kind of in the way back there, or the basketball seasons, you know, there's kind of 2 rooms back there. And, right, I don't know who's been
Yeah.
back there, who hasn't, but,
Or how about in the gym itself, down by the exit on the left-hand side as you're going in? It's a big empty space down there. This wouldn't take up, it wouldn't block the exit in any way, and it'd be out of the way.
I like the idea until you said it's not gonna block as long as you could, you know, the fire chief is very concerned about
Yeah, block
exit
that.
access, and we've stepped over the lines. We've been told that you can't do this, you can't do that. We used to have, sell souvenirs up in the walkway there, and there wasn't enough room and that sort of
Well,
thing.
we could ask Kent
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come down and take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the Council of Aging with us.
Right, so, yes, as long as it was in that corner out of the way, and there were no corners or anything, I would be concerned, you know, sharp corners if a player went flying back in there. That seems like a really good idea. I do think the security is better than you think in that back room. I mean, that's where we haven't had a problem in there in the 8 years I've been. But if you guys feel that's necessary, then that's certainly fine.
Well, the nets are just heavy to keep carrying them back and forth. I'm lugging 2 of them out of my car every week. and
Yeah,
it's
no,
heavy.
I got Dick a key to store stuff back there if he wanted to, so, you know, the only
We're
thing.
just concerned about security. And if you think it's not a problem, we can try it. If we lose a net, we'll just send you a bill.
Yeah, I saw that one coming, Dick, I saw that one coming.
Yeah, set up.
So there's only 4 or 5 of us in the basketball program have that key. I will say the lock is a little tricky, and sometimes you think it's locked and it's not. But at least from my point of view, I'm not sure people are going to be looking for pickleball equipment to lug. You know.
Have you opened that door lately?
This morning I did.
This morning it opened easily, didn't it?
Relatively, yes.
Donna and I tried it the other day, and we could not budget. And Adam came in and did some magic.
Oh, good. It does stick, and you know, part of the problem is there's no heat back there. So in the winter, things, you know, shrink and then they expand and that sort of stuff. But so I think the only final issue is the tape on the floor. So Dick and I agreed we would give that. So they've put painter's tape down for 3 quarts worth. And I agreed to that as a temporary measure
Yep.
here in the fall because we don't have much going on. I am much more concerned about it in the winter. You know, we have young kids, we're trying to teach them the rules of the game, and those extra lines are gonna make things extra confusing. The other issue is, and I know you've said the tape would be okay, and when I talked to somebody with a little more experience about than I, he expressed some concern is that when you pull that tape up, not necessarily that's gonna leave the finish, but it may leave some sticky spots on there. He thought after 7 days, that type of tape would start adhesing to the floor little by little.
It's been down there 2 weeks. Have you tried to pick it up?
Right, it's when it eventually comes up would be the
I
issue.
tried it Wednesday.
Yep,
It comes up, leaves no residue, and it's been down 2 weeks.
okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that week 3 it becomes magically gremlin, but
Yeah, we're going out of my area of
But we
expertise.
can monitor.
Yeah, we can monitor it,
and
but
see how
the
it-
concern would be sticky spots stay there. Someone hits the slide and hits this floor, and then
They go down.
they go
when
down.
you dribble the basketball and it doesn't come back.
Well, that's less of my concern than someone getting hurt. So I don't know what we do for the winter. You know, I think we could get by a week at a time if you put it down the first day of the week and took it up the last day of the week, because the weekends are when games are played and that sort of stuff.
If we're only playing 1 day a week, that's the problem, because it took us 2 hours to put down those 3 courts.
Yeah, it's not that simple, and we tried a thing called a portable, which was a portable system that went down, and which you only tape on certain areas, which we thought would be a great idea. And it's just too slippery, those, when you step on it, your foot slides out from underneath you, and it's more dangerous than it is helpful. So that's why it basically has to be the tape in order to play.
So could we mark the corners of the floor with something? So make your time putting it down less, if you already have it measured out, you just have to put the tape down. I'm not sure what the resolution
Yeah,
is.
that's a tough one.
It's still a lot of time, and I mean, you ever work with tape that never goes down straight, so when you get it down the first time, you don't want to have to keep doing it again.
The nice thing is it's a different color, okay? It's the blue.
Oh, that's the same, yeah, it's the
I would
same.
think when you,
Good.
it's easier to tell the kids, ignore the blue as opposed to look for it. And as adults, we have the same problem with the black lines when we go to hit the ball. We're trying to ignore the black lines and stay within the blue.
Can you kind of see how it goes with the kids for the first couple weeks of their,
See if that's a
see if
problem.
they're finding it to be a problem?
We can, but I'm pretty, after doing this for coming up on 20 years, I'm pretty confident that the lines are going to be a problem, especially for the games as well. People are going to think, oh, that's going out of bounds. No, it's not. I'd like to try to come up with some sort of alternative, so on the weekends, the tape would be not down there.
Couldn't you first give it a try before you convince yourself that it's a problem?
Well, when do the kids start playing?
Should be soon, right?
Yeah, so it wouldn't be till December when
So they're gonna be practicing and everything?
they will be practicing.
Okay.
I'm a little less concerned about practicing during the week because that tends to be the older kids, and that's why I'm trying to come to an accommodation. On Saturdays, we have the really young kids, like kindergartners, first graders, second graders. And then on Sundays, it's travel basketball, which is a little more competitive, and those extra lines are going to cause problems for the referees and the players and that sort of thing. So that's why I came with some sort of accommodation. If we could change it a week at a time, that might be something we can work. I'm trying to be somewhat flexible here, and it's not entirely my decision. I'm just talking from the basketball program's point of view. And again, the fall, the spring, I don't have an issue with it, but I do think on Saturdays and Sundays, it's going to be an issue for the basketball. So I'd like to see if we could come to some sort of accommodation.
I think if we play one day a week, that the setup time is
But you're talk-
exorbitant compared to the amount of usage time.
I agree with you, but you're talking about playing 3 times a week,
If we go to
right?
3 times a week, then now 2 hours setup time isn't as exorbitant, but it's still not convenient.
When you say it's not your decision to make,
It'd be
you're saying it's the committee?
it'd be the
Yeah.
commission's decision, yes.
Do they make some type of a portable thing you guys could,
Well, that's what I said, we tried a portable, it's called portables, and it's a
Uh-huh.
portable system that you lay down.
yeah,
And it just was too slippery, because it's like a belt material,
mm-hmm,
so when you lay it down and then you take down the corners, when you go to step on the part that's the line,
Yeah.
you step on it, you slide. I don't know who invented it, but it's the worst invention ever. And he obviously is making money on it, selling it as a great system, but
Sure.
it's a very dangerous thing.
Well,
And even at the intersections, playing with seniors, and even myself, I'm more competitive. If I trip on it, that's not a good thing, so.
well, we can look into possible other alternatives out there too.
yeah.
This taping was the,
Well, this is a really good system, but there are other things where you just put down like corners, but then that you don't have a full line for the full court.
Mhm.
And those are not
'Cause
good
I-
either. I've tried those as well.
I'm saying there's gotta be something, because we can't be the first people to have this problem.
Right.
There's gotta be something somewhere. I don't know what the answer is,
They're using
But-
gyms for so many
You know.
different sports now.
so, yeah.
Yeah, like I worked at the community center when I was a kid. We had volleyball lines, basketball lines,
Yeah.
all kinds of lines on there, lines for roller skating, lines for roller hockey.
Yeah.
And you just make do with what's there, you improvise, you know? And it never became an issue. Each, you know, all the different lines were different colors and you knew to play within your lines. So,
So, as I said, I'd be willing, you mentioned that thing on the corners, is somehow, I would think it would cut your time down if you could put a mark down where each of the corners are, right? Then you don't have to do any measuring, you just put the tape down. And what that looks like, I'm not sure, but that would be,
You get 60 feet of straight line to do, starting at a corner and running down to the next corner. And you better not ever be drunk that day.
as someone who used to do the baseball lines in baseball, they're not always 100%, right? Close enough.
I
Close
line a
enough.
soccer field and I use string, I'm very anal,
Oh,
so.
all right. I was not using a string when I was doing the baseball lines, and
No, no.
so, but if we could come to some other accommodation there, I think everything else would be willing to do. I would like to keep some communication open, either between Dick and I, or Dick and the commission, as to how often you're playing, you know, that sort of thing,
Well,
just
you know
so.
how often we're playing because we get permission from you to play.
Well, so at this point, I'm willing to let you to use any morning you want to use it, right? It's 5 days a week, you know. Again, we talked about the other considerations, but in terms of time opening, I'm fine with that. And we can accommodate evenings in the spring and the fall, and maybe even this winter's tough because the season's just coming on and we kind of got the scheduling down, but in future winters, we could maybe even open up a night or pickleball. Or are you interested in playing at 4:30 or 4 on it? That would be a possibility as well, right? We don't typically start practice till 5:30. We'd go back to 6 one night if you wanted to play 4 to 6 or something like that.
Typically, these are not OUR, but HOUR type games. Typically, you're looking for 3-4 hours, so if you start at 4:30, we're
Okay.
well into your problem.
So, you know, I don't have the final basketball, but winter hours would be tough at this point in the evening, but the mornings are certainly wide open, and I'm willing to.
And there's a lot of interest in evening. So if we had one night a week of a 7-day period week, including Sunday night, we could do that.
Oh, okay. Well, so Sunday nights would be a possibility. I didn't know weekend nights. Weekend nights were what you're looking for, but Sunday nights would be a possibility. Although you're going to run into the tape issue we just discussed and getting that down. We're probably in there till 3 or 4 on a Sunday, but after that, you guys could certainly come in. But all things to be worked out.
And there is the gyms at the schools, I know they get busy at basketball time. I know Ryan said he uses them, but that's another option as well if you want more nights to try to
Well, they're
get.
talking rental fees and everything else for the schools though.
Okay,
And then you become more financially,
yeah, you don't,
you know,
yeah,
we're trying to keep
Mhm.
it down so we can be self-sufficient and
Yeah.
not have to ask any money from anybody,
mhm,
so.
understood.
Yes?
That rubs me the wrong way when the town is working, has a facility that the seniors could make use of, and now that we've paid to build the facility, they want to charge us to use the
Well, I
facility.
think the charge is to get someone there to unlock the school
Yeah,
and have a
custodian,
janitor
custodian
standing by.
So,
on duty.
one tip I would be, if you present yourself as the nonprofit in town and want to use a weeknight, unless the janitors are no longer there, so we haven't been back in the schools since the COVID outbreak. But I do plan to go back this year. And in the past, there was a janitor in there during the weeknights, so they would not charge us as we were a nonprofit to use the gym. Weekends or holidays they would, because then you had to pay for the janitor to get in there. Whether that's changed or not, I don't know, but I'm not sure who you talk to. And if you presented yourself as a nonprofit, that's especially a town nonprofit, that would be one way to do that.
Probably still have a tape problem up there though, right?
Until you try it, how do you know? that it's a problem.
Well, years
You
of
know, you tell,
yeah, but years
if
of
the kids are
experience.
complaining, you know.
The kids aren't gonna complain, I'm talking about second, third grade kids, they're just gonna go, The other issue is the referees, and if you look down there, it lines all over the place. I just, from my 20 years' experience, I don't think it's functional for basketball. I'm willing to try to sacrifice that for practices, right, where it's not critically important and maybe the coaches can work around it. I just don't think it's functional for games.
And those are on weekends.
Those are on weekends, for the most part. But if we would try to work around it, if you guys were able to figure a way to get it down once and then pick it up once a week. So,
Did I hear you correctly that I can go check and see if Monday evening is going to work for the group that wants to play evenings?
Sunday evening.
Sunday?
Yes.
Sunday evening.
I misheard. Okay.
Saturday evenings too, I'm not sure if that's an option or not as well. That would be a possibility as well. I'm not,
But are there games on
But
Sunday
there are
mornings?
games on
there
Sunday.
are games on Sunday, so that would be
Yeah,
a
so
problem
that
with the
would
lines.
be-
Yeah.
If we have to keep bringing up the tape,
No,
No, you
it's
wouldn't
not
do
gonna
that.
be
not gonna
feasible.
work. And until you know.
Because the
if
tape
it's-
gets expensive too, so.
Right.
It'd be interesting to talk to some of the refs and see where they play at so many different courts, where they ref at so many different courts, what they have seen where the courts are used for so many things, and is it a problem for them? You know, how are they dealing with it? Maybe, we're thinking much more than we need to on that. But you're not gonna know till you try.
Is there a refs association that we can contact? Is there some way we can get into that group of knowledge people?
I'm not sure how responsive they'd be. So, part of me understands with John. So I've been doing this 20 years. I've yet to see pickleball lines on any gym we've played at, and I've been on gyms where there are multiple lines and seen the confusion it's caused with the kids. So, what are other what are other alternatives? What are other towns doing it? Maybe it's just pickleball is just kind of the new thing, and we're going to show up to 4 different town gyms this year, and there are going to be pickleball lines. I don't think that's going to happen, but I honestly don't know. It's a new thing for me as well.
Well,
Yeah.
have you been to the community center?
The
The White Community Center?
Not in a lot of years.
I have, yes.
Okay. So they have the full gym.
Yeah, I
and then they
played
always
in it
have
on
the
Wednesday
side-
night.
The side basketball courts are lined,
Yeah,
and then there's other lines for volleyball, there's other lines for hockey. So it was never an issue.
there are lines for side. I don't think there are lines for hockey, but
We might not have those anymore, but they, when I was working there younger years, we always had all those lines, and it was never an issue with the kids. Because you had the two side, the two courts when we had biddy basketball.
yeah.
And then the adults played the full court. So it was never an issue, which confusion, which lines were which at that point, so.
So those are all painted. The sidelines are very lightish tan or yellow, the ones, the baskets that go back and forth. I'm not aware about the volleyball lines. Your lines are blue, but dark, the royal blue you have and the black.
Well, we could
Yeah.
do orange lines too, so.
I'm not
And
sure.
then the outdoor tape is yellow, which leaves no residue.
So they say, yes.
You have your choice, blue, yellow, or orange to try.
I don't know about the aesthetics about yellow and orange, but,
When you travel with the team, you're gonna play at different courts, and you're gonna have to tell your kids, at this court, ignore the yellow lines. They're for something else, and the kids will ignore them.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to pursue your idea of getting the knowledge of the referees to see if anyone court anywhere is using anything other than basketball lines. But I don't know how to get into that.
I think that the more apt question is anyone else taping lines down on the floor that are staying there
We can
throughout?
paint lines. I don't think you want to do that, but
if the Sunshine Fund wants, it cost us about 12 to 15 grand the last time we sanded and painted lines. So I would love to have somebody else do that for me if that's what they want to do, but I'm not sure that's in either of our budgets, right?
No,
Probably not.
no.
So,
Not a money issue either, because you might not like the lines that get painted, and that would be a problem.
well, we would probably accommodate the lines. If you look at the volleyball lines on there, they're a very whitish light color as well. That's my recollection off the top of my head. So, you know, I think the question is there anyone else that has tape lines down? And my 20 years, I have not played on a court, or I don't remember playing on a court where there are tape lines in the middle of the floor in a similar, similar color. It just causes confusion, right? So,
I mean, I'd say we do some more research, and there's gotta be this must be a problem that's reoccurring now that this is getting more popular, and what's everyone doing, you know?
Did I understand today that Brady bought a team?
What?
He bought a pickleball team.
Oh, I heard that, yeah.
So, yeah, you're right, it's becoming more popular.
Yeah, so there's gotta be,
But the problem, John, is I don't know where to start on the
yeah, and I
research.
get it, but, yeah.
I know my parents go to Florida. It's hugely popular in the senior community. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
somebody down there, is there a pickleball association down there or
The
somewhere?
National
They play-
Pickleball League.
Well,
My
they play
husband
outside
suggested.
year-round out there, and they have dedicated pickleball courts, so that's
That's not
not,
the
that's
issue.
not an avenue to take. You'd have to go into a more New England atmosphere, where we have winter seasons where people come
Mhm.
inside to play. Because this is not a sport you play indoors all year round. You go outside when the weather gets nice.
And, I'm happy to talk if you have somebody who did this last year and had tape lines on his floor for his basketball program all year, I'm happy to talk to him and get his feedback. But again, I have not seen that. I didn't see it anywhere last year. So
I know a couple refs, I'll ask them if they,
Would the National
They mostly
Pickleball
do college
Association have
basketball.
some suggestions for material to use?
well, like I said, we can get painter's tape in other colors besides blue, or a color, tape that is considered for indoors that does not leave residue or pull up your floor. So if blue is not the answer, then we could go with an orange or a different color if you think that would stick out more, that they could be able and easily avoidable.
I'd be looking for duller colors, not bright. The orange sounds brighter. Yellow sounds brighter. I'd be looking for something duller,
We did
which
talk about that before we put the blue down.
we did. Yeah, right. I'd be looking for something that has less attention to it than more attention. So I was hopeful. Dick had mentioned the taping that you mentioned that didn't work because of the slipperiness. He had mentioned that as a possible when we first started. So I was more hopeful that that was an option.
No, we did purchase it, like I said, we tried it, and it just,
I'm one of the people who found out it doesn't work too well.
Yeah.
Don't wanna get hurt doing it.
Yeah, Pam almost did a split, but that stuff going there. I mean, she literally.
Wow.
Okay, so how much time do we have on the tape before the basketball league gets full blast?
So we'll practice full bore starting in November, but if I will commit to the 1st of December, I'd like that tape up off the floor because we'll start games that first weekend. So that gives you another 6 weeks to come up with some sort of alternative.
It also gives you the month of November to see how much problem it causes the kids, if any, too.
It does. I'm not going to have the younger kids in there until December. That's my main concern. But and there won't be any games in there in November. But
All right, would you work with us on that?
I will try. But like I said, unless you can tell me somewhere else where it works, I'm very hesitant to go ahead and agree to return the basketball
But you will
season.
work with
I
us.
will try.
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
feel
we
like
will-
I've tried to work with you the whole way here.
Yeah, we'll go do research,
Okay.
and I'll start that tomorrow.
Okay. And maybe you can come back to the commission, and I don't want to be the sole
Absolutely.
guy making the decision, so that we have a 5-board rec commission, so.
Yeah, we aren't gonna change anything until we talk with you.
Okay. So going forward, are you going to stick with just the Wednesdays, or do you want to expand mornings, or you'll let me know? How do you want to handle that?
well, we can let you know as, right now, we just have it set for Wednesday.
Okay.
but, we are looking for at least a couple
Okay.
days to start, and if it gets more activity, maybe open it up more. It's still nice outside, so a lot of people are still playing outdoors.
Okay.
Do we want to pick the second day right now? And I will go research and see if Sunday will work with the evening people.
Well, we can discuss it amongst
Yeah,
the group to
yeah,
see what the
let's talk
additional
about
day
it.
would be.
Yeah,
Right.
there's
Yeah,
no
let's
rush.
come up with them Wednesday.
Mornings, mornings are wide open. I'm more than happy to have you guys use it. I just want somebody to let me know, just so
Oh, we will definitely.
if a question comes up or something has, I can at least say.
No changes unless we talk with you first.
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Good
All
luck,
right.
folks.
Thank you very much. I
Great
appreciate
job.
what you're
Come play
doing.
pickleball.
I don't wanna embarrass myself. You guys will,
No.
No, I'll take my time, I'll baby you.
I'll need
Don't
it.
play with
We
Donna,
have,
you'll
we
get
have,
your...
everybody's very cooperative in teaching us, a lot of beginners.
It is fun. What to me is fun with my background is watching a 10 or 15-minute game, and then literally they explode and go sit down, and another group comes in with maybe one or two of the same group. It's just this constant shifting of people.
Wow,
And then
I've never seen it, but
ones
I'm
that are sitting down
interested
and
in
talking
seeing it.
and Fun time.
It's awesome.
It's great what you're doing.
And you
Thank
said-
you.
Thank
You
you.
said you had seen or played in a pickleball game?
I haven't played. I've seen
Have you seen the
them.
ball,
I have.
John?
No,
It's like a wiffle ball.
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's an indoor pickleball.
That
They
looks
have
like it could
indoor
hurt a
and
little bit.
outdoor.
Wow.
Well, so far, this group doesn't hit hard enough.
No, we don't.
Does
Okay.
anyone play right at the net, like they do in tennis,
Oh,
and
yeah.
try to volley?
Well,
That's the best
the way to
ball.
okay, I can explain the game to you if you like. Why don't you come down and learn? There's an area called the kitchen, which keeps for safety.
I
You
know
can't
that's a
be,
problem.
this one stays in the kitchen all the time. Because you don't want to whack it, it's a safety purpose. You can't whack it out of the air if you're in the kitchen up next to the
okay, so they
line.
don't allow that.
You have to be so far back in order to hit it out of the air. If
If
it
you-
bounces in the kitchen, you can hit
Yeah,
it.
if you play tennis, this is reverse.
Okay. I played some tennis when I was a lot younger and skinnier.
Seriously, just come in one Wednesday.
I may
morning.
come watch one Wednesday morning, and just
We have
for a few
paddles,
minutes.
you will play.
I don't think I'll play. I do want to see what it's all about, so.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right,
Ladies,
thank you.
too.
I probably will have to.
All right, number 2 is Lisa Freeman sent me some information about a code of conduct, open meeting law review. So I did forward you guys the
Yeah.
open meeting law stuff. So I would just ask that you read through this.
Yeah.
So this is a code of conduct the board has come up with over the last 6 to 9 months. So I just ask if we could read through this and get me your John Hancock. And I can stick it in Lisa's box. Thank you, ma'am. And do me a favor, just fill out your information there as well, please. Thank you, John. I might have given you a dupe, John.
What's that?
I might have given you a dupe, but I see you looking through there.
Yeah. All right.
If you could just put your information on there after Hannah is done. Even better. June meeting minutes. somehow neglected a copy of the first page of the May one, so I'm gonna run and do that real quick, and I'll be back in less than a minute. This floor is creaking under me. That's not a good sign for the floor of me. Those are the May 22nd. Those are a little longer. Give you a chance to read through those. So if you guys have read through them, I'd be
Yep.
looking
I'll make a
for,
motion to approve the May 22nd, 2022 minutes as written.
motion made by John, seconded by Hannah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have the June 27th ones as well.
I'll make a motion to approve June 27th, 2022 minutes as written.
Motion made by John, seconded by Hannah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Anybody have any topics not reasonably anticipated 40 hours in advance?
I have one thing. if I
Okay.
could. So I know back in the day, we had, the rec department had quite a larger budget of like 30-something thousand dollars, way back when. But my thought is, and we can talk about this more when the whole group's together, but maybe it's time to start asking for a little bit more money to help out all the programs, the fields, the courts, and what have you, to see if it's even an option. But
Okay,
I think it might be time to at least ask. If we don't ask, we won't know, you know?
right.
So,
We're thinking like 5,000?
yeah,
You're thinking
$5,000
more
or $10,000,
dollars.
you know, I mean, like this year at the ball fields, we didn't have enough money, we couldn't fertilize,
Yeah.
you know? And that's a big investment for the town, and unfortunately, they didn't get fertilized the second time like we'd like to. You know, I don't know if there's other stuff that needs to be done. I know there's roofs at Martin Road that need replacement and so on, you know, so if we don't start somewhere, I don't think we're gonna, you know. So I know we pay the electric bill and then have enough money to make a small repair or something, so
Okay,
that's just what I wanted to bring up, that's all.
that's a good idea. Maybe we'll meet again here, if not before the holidays, just after. And we can
Sounds
put
good.
that budget
Yeah.
request in.
Yeah.
To
That's
the
all I
town
have.
administrator.
Yep.
Hannah, you have anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right. Motion made by John, seconded by Hannah to adjourn at 7:25. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.